Your true power is not what people see, but what flows from within. This power is so silent that people don't understand it, and so powerful that it shakes their systems. When you stand true to your truth and purpose, you not only rise up, you change the environment, and that's when the world begins to shake. You may not realize it, but every time you choose to stand tall in your convictions, you send tremors into systems, habits, and mindsets that thrive on complacency. Your strength is not merely in your abilities, it is in your identity, your discipline, and your unwavering sense of purpose. This is why some people feel unsettled around you. They cannot explain it, but they can sense it. What you carry is not ordinary, it challenges what is common. The power of inner strength is one of the most underestimated forces a person can possess. Yet it is the very foundation upon which lasting influence and success are built. Inner strength is not about loudness, position, or external force. It is about the quiet, unshakable conviction within you that directs your decisions, guides your responses, and stabilizes your emotions. When you operate from a deep well of personal values and clarity of purpose, you become immovable in a world that is constantly shifting. People who develop inner strength are not easily swayed by trends, opinions, or manipulations because they have already decided who they are and what they stand for. This inner stability becomes a shield that protects them from unnecessary distractions and a magnet that draws respect from others. In essence, the truest form of strength is the ability to remain calm, consistent, and principled even when everything around you is chaotic. This kind of strength does not develop overnight. It is cultivated through self-awareness, reflection, discipline, and the deliberate practice of aligning your actions with your beliefs. When you invest time in understanding your own identity, values, and mission, you begin to build a core that cannot be easily shaken. You stop reacting to circumstances impulsively and start responding to them strategically. This is why individuals with inner strength can enter volatile environments without losing their composure. They have already resolved their priorities and are therefore not easily manipulated or intimidated. Their stability becomes a silent but powerful force that influences others without words. People around them begin to sense a different atmosphere, one of confidence, focus, and integrity, and that atmosphere itself begins to reshape the culture of the environment. Inner strength also fuels resilience. When challenges arise, those who have invested in their inner life are able to bounce back faster because their identity is not tied to external success or failure. They see setbacks as feedback, not as a verdict. This resilience not only helps them recover, but also allows them to keep moving forward with dignity and hope. It is this combination of conviction and resilience that shakes the world of those who prefer comfort over growth. When others see you remain steady in the face of adversity, it disrupts the narrative that quitting is normal. Your persistence challenges their excuses. Your discipline challenges their complacency. In this way, your inner strength becomes a living example that forces others to confront their own weaknesses and choices. Another important aspect of inner strength is emotional mastery. True power lies not in controlling others, but in controlling yourself. This means learning how to manage your emotions, your words, and your reactions, especially under pressure. People who lack inner strength often overreact, lash out, or withdraw when challenged. But those with inner fortitude remain composed, thoughtful, and intentional. This composure commands respect because it demonstrates maturity and self-mastery. It is the difference between being a thermometer that merely reflects the temperature of its surroundings and being a thermostat that sets the temperature. When you cultivate inner strength, you stop being a passive participant in your environment and start becoming an active shaper of it. Ultimately, inner strength transforms how you see yourself and how others see you. It positions you as a leader regardless of your title or status. Leadership is not about controlling people, it is about influencing them through example. Your stability, integrity, and discipline become a silent invitation for others to rise higher. Even those who oppose you are forced to acknowledge the authenticity of your character. In time, many of them will either align with you or be inspired by you, because inner strength is magnetic. It draws trust, it commands credibility, and it sustains impact long after appearances fade. To build this level of inner strength, you must commit to continual growth. It requires setting aside time for reflection, learning, and honest self-evaluation. It demands courage to face your weaknesses and the patience to develop new habits. It is not glamorous work, but it is transformative work. And once it is established, it cannot be easily taken from you. This is why your inner strength shakes the world around you, because it cannot be manipulated, bought, or faked. It is authentic, and authenticity always disrupts pretense. When you live from a place of true strength, you do not just survive your environment, you elevate it. You become a steady light in unstable times, a living testament that real power begins within. Resistance is one of the clearest indicators that your life is beginning to influence and disrupt the world around you. When your decisions, growth, or voice start to challenge patterns that have been accepted for years, you will almost always encounter pushback. This is because every environment, whether it is a workplace, a community, or even a family system, develops certain rhythms and expectations. When you change, you unintentionally challenge those rhythms. People who have grown comfortable with the old ways may interpret your growth as a threat, even if you have no intention of harming them. They may criticize you, misunderstand you, or attempt to pull you back into familiar patterns. It is important to recognize that this reaction is not a sign of your failure. It is a sign that you are making an impact. In fact, history shows us that every significant shift begins with someone who is willing to endure resistance. Opposition often surfaces in subtle ways long before it becomes open and obvious. Sometimes it shows up as passive-aggressive comments, a lack of support, or unexplained distance from people you once felt close to. At other times it may take the form of open criticism, attempts to discredit you, or efforts to limit your opportunities. All of these are natural responses to change. When your standards rise, when your focus sharpens, or when your results begin to outgrow old expectations, the environment you are in will be forced to respond. Some will adapt and grow with you, while others will resist and try to maintain the status quo. Understanding this dynamic keeps you from being discouraged or taking it personally. You begin to see resistance not as an obstacle, but as evidence that your actions are producing real movement. This perspective shift is crucial because it prevents you from shrinking back to make others comfortable. Many people, when faced with opposition, assume they are doing something wrong and revert to old patterns just to regain approval. But the presence of resistance does not mean you are on the wrong path. More often, it means you are stepping into your true path. Like a seed pushing through soil, the pressure you feel is a natural part of your growth. Without that pressure, you would never break through to the surface. By seeing resistance as confirmation rather than condemnation, you build resilience and courage to keep moving forward. Another key to navigating resistance is to understand its purpose. Resistance exposes weaknesses, not just in others but also in you. It shows you where your boundaries are unclear, where your convictions are untested, and where your patience needs to grow. It forces you to refine your message, strengthen your focus, and deepen your character. This is why some of the greatest leaders and innovators emerged stronger after seasons of opposition. Instead of reacting emotionally, they used the opposition to sharpen their vision and strategy. You can do the same. Rather than fighting every critic, you can let your consistency and results speak for you. Over time, even those who oppose you are forced to acknowledge your authenticity. Resistance also reveals who is truly aligned with your journey. When everything is easy, many people will stand beside you, but adversity exposes motives. Some will drift away, and others will show their loyalty and support more clearly. This clarity is a gift. It helps you build healthier relationships and stronger teams, grounded not in convenience but in shared values. You learn to stop depending on universal approval and to anchor yourself in your purpose instead. This frees you from constantly explaining yourself or seeking validation, which can drain your energy and distract you from your goals. It is equally important to keep your heart healthy while facing resistance. Bitterness, anger, and frustration can quickly take root if you misinterpret opposition as personal hatred. In most cases, people are not reacting to you as a person but to what you represent, a shift they are not yet ready to make. Keeping this in mind allows you to remain gracious, patient, and focused even under pressure. Emotional maturity becomes your shield. You stop wasting energy on retaliation and instead invest it in building, creating, and improving. Ultimately, resistance is not your enemy. It is a mirror that shows you the magnitude of your impact. The louder the resistance, the clearer the evidence that you are shaking old patterns and inspiring change. This understanding gives you courage to stand firm and wisdom to choose your battles carefully. You do not have to explain your growth to everyone, you simply have to keep growing. As you do, some of the very people who resisted you will eventually be influenced by your example. Others may remain opposed, but they will no longer be able to stop the momentum you have built. In this way, resistance becomes a partner in your growth. It tests you, refines you, and ultimately validates the fact that your strength and your progress are shaking their world. Strength is a gift, but without direction it can easily be wasted. Many people have talent, charisma, and even influence, yet they remain ineffective because they have not learned how to steward their strength. Stewardship means taking responsibility for the power, opportunities, and abilities you have been given and using them with purpose and discipline. When you understand that your strength carries weight, you stop treating it casually. You begin to realize that your words can shape perceptions, your actions can set standards, and your decisions can influence not only your own future, but also the lives of those who look up to you. This awareness transforms strength from a random burst of energy into a focused and consistent force for impact. One of the first steps in stewarding your strength is self-awareness. You must understand your own capacity, your triggers, and your limitations. People who fail to know themselves often misuse their energy. They may burn out by overcommitting or alienate others by acting impulsively. But when you recognize how your mind works, what environments bring out your best, and which values guide your choices, you can direct your energy toward the right priorities. Self-awareness also keeps you humble. It reminds you that strength is not a license to dominate, but a responsibility to serve. This attitude turns your abilities into tools for building rather than weapons for tearing down. Discipline is another crucial part of managing your strength. Raw power without control leads to chaos. Think of an untamed river. Its water has potential but causes destruction when it overflows its banks. In the same way, your gifts must be channeled through habits, boundaries, and routines. This could mean structuring your day, setting clear goals, or learning when to say no. It could also mean training your emotions to remain steady when provoked so you don't sabotage your own credibility. People who discipline their strength become reliable. Others can trust them because they know their reactions are thoughtful, not reckless. This reliability multiplies influence because credibility always precedes authority. Alignment with purpose is the next layer of stewardship. Strength by itself can create noise, but strength aligned with purpose creates legacy. When you understand why you have been given certain talents and opportunities, you stop wasting time on pursuits that do not contribute to your larger mission. You become more selective about where you invest your energy, who you collaborate with, and what battles you choose to fight. This focus accelerates progress and prevents distractions. It also protects you from the temptation to compare yourself with others. You no longer need to mimic someone else's path because you have clarity on your own. This is one of the highest forms of freedom and one of the clearest signs of maturity. Stewarding your strength also involves learning how to protect your energy. Not every invitation deserves a yes, and not every criticism requires a response. If you are constantly reacting to everything and everyone, you will scatter your focus and dilute your impact. By creating healthy boundaries, you conserve your energy for what truly matters. This may mean distancing yourself from toxic environments, limiting unnecessary debates, or prioritizing rest so you can sustain your pace. Strong people who lack boundaries eventually exhaust themselves. Strong people with boundaries remain effective over the long term. Another dimension of stewardship is multiplication. Real strength does not hoard power, it shares it. When you mentor others, collaborate generously, and build systems that outlast you, your strength becomes a catalyst for collective growth. You begin to see your influence expand not just through your direct actions, but through the people you've invested in. This kind of multiplication ensures that your strength leaves a legacy rather than a momentary impression. It also keeps you grounded because you remember that your power is not just about you, but about the greater good you can help create. Finally, stewarding your strength means staying teachable. Even the strongest individuals can stagnate if they stop learning. Humility keeps you open to feedback, growth, and new perspectives. It allows you to refine your methods without compromising your values. This combination of strength and teachability is rare but powerful. It creates leaders who are both firm in conviction and flexible in approach. People who can adapt to change without losing their identity. When you channel your strength through self-awareness, discipline, purpose, boundaries, multiplication, and humility, you become a steady force that cannot easily be derailed. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. Your energy is no longer scattered but directed. Your influence is no longer accidental but strategic. This is the kind of stewardship that not only preserves your strength but also amplifies it. Over time, the world around you begins to feel the consistency, stability, and clarity you bring. You move from being a person of potential to a person of impact, and your strength stops being a momentary tremor and starts becoming an enduring force that shapes the environment you are in. Every challenge you face carries within it an opportunity to grow, to redefine yourself, and to expand your influence. Opposition is rarely pleasant, but it can be one of the most powerful teachers in your journey. When you learn to transform obstacles into opportunities, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as a strategist of progress. Resistance becomes a tool for refinement rather than a barrier to success. This perspective shift allows you to rise above frustration and use adversity as fuel for your advancement. The storms that come against you are not always designed to destroy you. Often, they are designed to strengthen you and reveal capacities you did not know you had. The first step in transforming opposition into opportunity is changing how you interpret it. Many people interpret resistance as rejection or failure, which makes them retreat or abandon their goals. But those who are wise see resistance as feedback. It tells you that your actions are producing ripples, that your presence is making a difference, and that systems are being disrupted. This understanding helps you remain steady when others panic. You recognize that pushback is often a sign that you are on the right path. Instead of shrinking back to fit into old patterns, you lean into the challenge with clarity and determination. This mindset separates those who stagnate from those who innovate. Opposition also reveals where you need to grow. Each challenge acts like a mirror, exposing your blind spots and untested areas. For example, criticism may highlight the need for clearer communication, setbacks may reveal the need for stronger planning, and delays may teach patience and endurance. If you are willing to learn from these signals, you can emerge from every season of difficulty sharper, wiser, and more resilient. Rather than asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" This question transforms a painful experience into a valuable lesson. Over time, you build a habit of extracting insight from every obstacle, which accelerates your growth far beyond those who avoid challenges. Another key to turning opposition into opportunity is the ability to stay emotionally steady. Adversity often provokes frustration, fear, or anger, and if you allow those emotions to dominate, they can cloud your judgment. Emotional mastery allows you to pause, think, and choose your response carefully. This composure not only protects your credibility, but also positions you as a leader in moments of tension. While others react impulsively, you act strategically. This calm strength often disarms opposition and earns respect, even from critics. It shows that you are not easily rattled, which in turn builds trust in your ability to navigate difficult seasons. Transforming challenges into opportunities also requires creativity. Obstacles are often gateways to innovation. A closed door can force you to discover a better route. A lack of resources can spark new strategies. A setback can create space for reinvention. Many breakthroughs in history were born out of limitation and pressure. When you refuse to see adversity as the end of the road, you open your mind to possibilities that would never have emerged in comfort. This creative approach turns what was meant to hinder you into a platform that elevates you. What others see as a dead end, you can see as a detour toward a higher destination. This process not only benefits you, but also inspires others. People watch how you handle difficulty. When they see you respond to opposition with patience, wisdom, and innovation, it challenges their own excuses. Your resilience becomes a living example that change is possible. In this way, your growth multiplies beyond your personal life. It becomes a catalyst for growth in others. You shift from simply enduring challenges to modeling how to convert them into stepping stones. Over time, your reputation for overcoming adversity becomes a part of your influence. People no longer just see your success, they respect the process that built you. Ultimately, transforming opposition into opportunity is about perspective and discipline. It is about deciding that nothing will go to waste in your journey. Every setback becomes a lesson, every delay a preparation, every criticism a chance to clarify your message, and every obstacle an invitation to innovate. This mindset does not eliminate pain or difficulty, but it gives them purpose. It empowers you to keep moving forward with dignity and vision, even when circumstances are hard. As you practice this, you will notice a shift. Challenges that once intimidated you now energize you. Resistance that once frustrated you now motivates you. And the tremors you create by your resilience will not only shake old patterns, but will also lay the groundwork for a stronger future for yourself and those who follow your example. Your journey is proof that strength is not an accident and influence is not a coincidence. The power that flows from within you, the convictions you hold, the discipline you live by, the courage you show, has already begun to shift the atmosphere around you. Resistance has tried to push you back, but it has only refined you. Opposition has tried to silence you, but it has only sharpened your vision. Every challenge you have faced has become training ground for greater impact. You now understand that inner strength is the foundation, resistance is confirmation, stewardship gives your strength direction, and opposition can be transformed into opportunity. These four truths together form a blueprint for living a life that is not reactive but intentional, not easily shaken but deeply rooted, not only successful but significant. As you continue, refuse to minimize yourself to make others comfortable. Refuse to waste your power on distractions. Refuse to see obstacles as dead ends. Instead, keep standing, keep growing, keep stewarding what you've been given. Your courage and consistency are already shaking the world of complacency and opening new possibilities. Not just for you, but for those who will draw strength from your example. This is your moment to stand firm, not to retreat. It is your time to let your inner strength radiate outward, to steward it with wisdom, and to turn every challenge into a platform for greater influence. If you hold to these principles, nothing external will be able to stop the internal force shaping your destiny. Your strength is shaking their world, and it is only the beginning.